What if the reason you wake at 300 a.m. has nothing to do with getting older? What if it's not about a weak bladder or a failing body? What if it's a simple mistake, a misunderstanding between you and your body that happens every single evening? There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from broken sleep. It's not just tiredness. It's a debt that you carry into the morning. Your mind feels clouded. Your patience is thin. And that first cup of coffee doesn't feel like a pleasure, but a necessity to simply function. You've likely accepted this. You've told yourself, this is just what happens after 60, after 70 born. But I am here to tell you, with confidence and care, that this is not a life sentence. Your body isn't failing you. It's trying to send you a message, a very clear message. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need a doctor to translate it. You just need to learn how to listen. The most powerful lever we have over our nightly rest is not a pill, but our relationship with water. Specifically, the timing of it. I've sat with countless elders who are diligent about hydration. They carry their water bottles. They sip throughout the day, believing they're doing everything right. But then the night comes and the truce is broken. A gentle but persistent signal from deep within forces them out of a warm bed and down a cold hallway. Once, maybe twice a night. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a thief. It steals the deep, restorative sleep where healing happens. The cause isn't just about age, but about a biological truth that most of us were never taught. Let me explain this simply. Your body has an internal clock, and your kidneys follow it strictly. During the day, they are on the day shift, working efficiently to filter fluids. But as evening approaches, a hormone called vasopressin is supposed to arrive and tell the kidneys, okay, time for the night shift. Slow everything down. This allows you to sleep for 6 hours uninterrupted. But after the age of 55 or 60, our bodies produce less of this hormone. The message gets weaker. So your kidneys, like diligent workers who never got the memo to go home, just keep working at their daytime pace. The bladder fills up far more quickly than it should, and it doesn't take much, sometimes just a small cup's worth of urine, to trigger the alarm. This isn't a disease, it's a change in management. And once you understand the new rules, you can begin to work with your body, not against it. I remember a retired school teacher named Arthur, 71 years old, a man of routine and discipline. But for years, his nights were fractured. He'd wake at 200 a.m. and again at 4:30 a.m. His doctor found nothing wrong. He told me, with a sense of defeat, I guess this is just my life now. He loved to read before bed, with a large glass of water on his nightstand. It was his ritual. We didn't change what he drank, we changed when he drank it. We created a new rule: front load your hydration. He began drinking the majority of his water before 300 p.m. After 700 p.m., nothing but a few small sips if absolutely necessary. It took about 2 weeks. Then one morning, he told me he had slept until 500 a.m. straight. The look in his eyes wasn't just rested, it was relief. The body wasn't broken. It was just waiting for a better schedule. One of the most common mistakes is this ritual of late night hydration. A glass of water with dinner, a cup of herbal tea while watching TV, maybe a bowl of soup because it feels light. But to your kidneys, this is a sudden flood of new work right when they're supposed to be closing up shop. The brain is preparing for deep sleep, but the bladder is being sent urgent messages. This cycle doesn't start overnight. It builds slowly, night by night, until waking up tired becomes your new normal. But you have the power to write a new normal. Think of your body like a power plant. It's most efficient during peak hours, from morning until mid-afternoon. That is the time to fuel it, to hydrate it. This is when your metabolism is high, your heart is strong, and your kidneys can handle the load with ease. Drink your water steadily during these hours, but as the sun goes down, the plant powers down for the night. Continuing to drink heavily after 600 or 700 p.m. is like trying to force the plant back online. It creates stress and disrupts the system's natural transition into a state of rest. This isn't some mystical secret. It's the rhythm of life I've seen respected in cultures all over the world. Drink with the sun, rest with the moon. This discipline is not a punishment. It is a profound act of self-respect. So if you find yourself awake in the dead of night, don't ask what's wrong with your body. Ask what is out of sync, and then, with kindness, adjust your timing. Your body doesn't need more struggle. It needs more rhythm. Let's walk this path together, not with force, but with understanding and a deep trust in the wisdom you already hold. There's a deep-seated comfort in a warm evening drink. For so many, a cup of chamomile tea or a bowl of light broth is the final period at the end of the day's sentence. It's a signal to the body to let go. But within this very ritual of comfort, we often hide the key to our own restlessness. That ginger tea, that golden milk, that vegetable soup, they feel harmless. They are in spirit, but in substance, they are fluids. And when you drink them after the sun has set, they don't just vanish. They become a quiet, steady drip into your bladder, long after your mind has drifted off to sleep. They become the silent alarm that rings at 2:30 a.m., pulling you from your dreams and leaving you staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel an urge when your bladder isn't even truly full. This was the exact story of a woman named Clara, 72, whom I met at a wellness workshop. Her eyes held a deep weariness that I recognized instantly. For years, she woke at the same time every single night. She had simply surrendered to it as a fact of her age. One evening, as we spoke, she mentioned her non-negotiable bedtime ritual, a large bowl of sliced melon and cantaloupe. "It's healthy, it's just fruit," she said. I listened and then gently proposed an idea. The fruit wasn't the enemy, its timing was. The high water content, consumed so late, was like a Trojan horse. It seemed like a gift, but it was delivering a disruption deep into the night. She agreed to a small experiment. She moved her fruit bowl to the afternoon and had only 2 sips of warm water before bed. A week later, she approached me with a smile that reached her eyes. "I never imagined," she whispered, "that something so small could make such a loud difference." These nightly awakenings aren't a sign of failure. They are a sign that your body is still responsive, still communicating, asking for a simple adjustment. Another habit, born from the best intentions, is the just in case trip to the bathroom right before getting into bed. It feels like the responsible thing to do, but what you're actually doing is training your bladder to cry wolf. By emptying it when it's not full, you are teaching the delicate nerves inside to signal an emergency when there isn't one. Over time, your bladder becomes over-sensitive. It starts to panic when it's only a third full. The result? You wake up in the middle of the night, not because your body needs to go, but because you've conditioned it to believe it must. This is a learned habit, and any habit that can be learned can also be unlearned. Then there's the pattern of catching up. I've seen this countless times. An elder is busy all morning, drinks almost nothing, and then realizes around 500 p.m. that they're dehydrated. So they down 2 or 3 large glasses of water in the evening to meet their daily quota. But your body is not a bucket you can just fill up at the last minute. It's a river, and it needs a steady, consistent flow. Your kidneys are at their peak performance when the sun is high. That is your window of opportunity. By drinking the majority of your water between your first meal and 400 p.m., you allow your body to process, use, and eliminate fluid efficiently. The bladder gets properly flushed, the cells get truly hydrated, and the evening can be what it's meant to be, a time for winding down, not for your organs to work overtime. After 400 or 500 p.m., your hydration strategy should shift from volume to consciousness. Take small sips, and only when you feel genuine thirst. Think of it as slowly dimming the lights in your house before bed. You wouldn't turn on a bright, overhead light right before sleep. So don't flood your internal system with a torrent of fluid when it is trying to find quiet. And the temperature of that water matters too. So many of us drink ice, cold water out of habit. But cold fluid, especially in the evening, is a shock to the system. It can irritate the bladder lining and agitate the nerves. Warm or room temperature water is an act of kindness to your body. It doesn't jolt, it harmonizes. Hydration isn't about how much you drink. It's a dance between the water, the time of day, and how your body receives it. When elders tell me they feel hopeless about their sleep, I always tell them, no one ever taught us the rules for drinking water after 60 dawn. But your body is teaching you now. It doesn't yell, it whispers, it nudges. And when you answer with awareness, it finds its way back to health. One sip taken earlier, one less cup after dark, one decision to trust your body instead of going, just in case. These are not sacrifices. They are acts of partnership. They are how you give the night back to itself, as a sacred space for healing. There is a specific window of time, a sacred doorway in your day that holds the key to a peaceful night. It's not on your watch, it's in your body. It typically falls between 500 p.m. and 700 p.m. This is when your body's rhythm naturally begins its descent into quiet. Your energy softens, your breath slows. This is the crucial period when you must consciously begin to taper off your fluid intake. It's not that water is bad, water is life, but even the best of things, arriving at the wrong time, can cause turmoil. From 500 p.m. onwards, drink only when you feel a real signal of thirst, and after 7:30 p.m., the rule should be firm, unless a doctor says otherwise. No more than a small teacup, about 150 ml. It seems like such a tiny action, but it is a monumental act of cooperation with your body's innate wisdom. A common question I hear is, but what about my evening medications? Many of us take essential pills at night for blood pressure, heart conditions, or other chronic issues. Of course, you must take them, but you can do so with mindfulness. Use only the smallest amount of water necessary to swallow the pill. A few sips, not a full glass. If the medicine makes you thirsty, address that thirst with patience. Take one small spoonful of water at a time, letting it absorb slowly. Don't overwhelm the system. Then there's that well-intentioned habit of drinking a glass of water before bed, just in case you get thirsty later. This logic is a trap. It preemptively loads the bladder at the most sensitive time of night. Instead, I invite you to try a more ancient, more powerful ritual. Before you lie down, sit on the edge of your bed for just 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart and one on your lower abdomen. Just breathe. Slowly in, slowly out. Let your nervous system receive the message that it is time for peace. Your bladder is connected to your nervous system. When your mind is calm, your bladder is calmer too. You can even gently massage your lower belly in a slow, clockwise circle. It's a physical way of saying, it's okay. We are safe. It is time to rest. I think of a man named Emile, a wonderfully disciplined but frustrated 70-year-old who attended one of our mountain retreats. He was waking up 3 times every night like clockwork. He confessed he was drinking almost a full liter of water between 700 p.m. and 900 p.m. He called it his nightly detox. But a true detox is about timing, not just volume. I asked him to make one single adjustment. Drink 70% of his daily water before 300 p.m. and have only one small glass around 6:30 in the evening. The change wasn't immediate, but it was steady. Within 2 weeks, he was only waking once. A month later, he slept soundly from 10:00 p.m. to 5:00 a.m. His face had a new lightness to it. He said, I feel like I've been reintroduced to an old friend myself. The solution, dear friend, is not about drinking less. It is about drinking smarter. Give your body the gift of proper timing. But it's not just the water you drink, it's the water you eat. Our evening meal, a time for family and comfort, can be a source of hidden fluids that sabotage our sleep. Think about it: a hearty lentil soup, a clear vegetable broth, a soupy curry. They seem light and digestible, but consumed late in the evening, they are just time, released streams flowing directly into your bladder while you sleep. You don't feel it when you eat, but 2 hours later, your body does. The same is true for evening drinks. That herbal tea, that turmeric milk, even decaf coffee with milk, they are all fluids. And some, like green tea, are even mild diuretics, actively encouraging your kidneys to produce more urine. It's a great paradox. We drink these things to calm down, only to have them physically wake us up later. Even our healthiest choices, raw fruits and vegetables, require careful timing. a crisp cucumber and tomato salad, a juicy pear, a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. They are packed with life and nutrients, but they are also packed with water and natural acids. Eaten after sunset, they can significantly increase bladder sensitivity in an aging system that is already more reactive. So, ask yourself a gentle question before your evening meal. Is this food for today's energy, or will it become a task for tonight's rest? The body never seeks to punish you. It simply keeps a perfect record. When we show respect for its rhythms, in what we drink, when we eat, and how we listen, it repays us not with rebellion, but with profound, peaceful rest. Let your evenings become lighter. Let the hours after sunset be for quiet, and let every choice be guided by the question, will this help my body find its stillness? There are times when the body communicates not through pain, but through patterns. It doesn't scream, it just repeats the same action over and over, a gentle insistence, until we finally pause and ask, what are you trying to tell me? I recall a gentleman named Marcus, 68, who came to a retreat in Austria. He was proud of his nightly dinner, a large, beautiful raw salad with cucumbers, tomatoes, and a zesty lemon dressing. He was convinced it was the peak of health. Yet, every single night, he was up 2 or 3 times. He hadn't changed his water habits. He wasn't sick, but his sleep was in pieces. After some conversation, we tried one small adjustment. He moved his big salad to lunchtime and had lightly steamed vegetables for dinner instead. The result was stunning. Within a week, he slept for 6 hours without a single interruption. No medication, no complex new routine, just a quiet shift in timing. This is the body's way. It doesn't demand punishment. It requests alignment. Another hidden accomplice in our nightly restlessness is salt. An evening meal of salty snacks, pickles, or a heavily seasoned sauce might feel satisfying, but it acts like a trigger for thirst. You find yourself drinking more water after dinner, and then perhaps another glass right before bed to quench that lingering dryness. This surge of late-night fluid, combined with a more sensitive bladder and kidneys that are naturally slowing down, makes waking up to urinate almost a certainty. But again, this isn't about deprivation. I am not asking you to eat bland food. I am asking you to give your favorite flavors a new home in your day. That delicious, salty dish enjoyed at noon is pure energy. The exact same dish eaten at 900 p.m. becomes a burden on your resting body. By shifting the rhythm, the same food brings you joy instead of disruption. When the body can finally rest deeply, the mind becomes clear. And when the mind is still, sleep is no longer a chore you fail at, but an old friend who has come home. People often ask, is there a cure for this? I tell them, maybe not a cure, but there is a return to partnership with your body. Often, the body isn't asking for a pill, it's asking for a small, patient adjustment. Let's start with your morning. After 60, our circulation naturally becomes a bit less efficient. Fluid that should be circulating can start to pool in the lower body, especially in the ankles and legs. You may not even see the swelling, but when you lie down at night, gravity is no longer holding that fluid down. It flows back into your bloodstream, heading for the kidneys. The kidneys, sensing this new arrival of fluid, think, oh, time to get back to work. And just as you're drifting off, your bladder starts to fill. But you can manage this preemptively. A simple morning walk, some gentle stretching in the sun, or even just flexing and pointing your ankles while you sit can help circulate that fluid early in the day. It doesn't have to be a workout. It just has to be intentional. By doing this, you're lightening the load for your kidneys later on, and they will thank you with a quieter night. Then, let's talk about your sleeping position. For generations, many were taught to sleep on their backs, but a wealth of both modern medical and ancient wisdom points to a better way. Sleep on your left side. Place one pillow under your head and a second one between your knees. This position takes physical pressure off the bladder. It also aids digestion and improves circulation to the heart. It's a small change with a profound impact. Many people report fewer false alarms from their bladder within just a few nights. And what about your clothing? Many of us were raised with the idea that being very warm at night is safest. We pile on heavy blankets and wear thick pajamas, but especially in warmer climates, overheating can backfire. It makes you sweat, which makes you thirsty, which can reactivate the kidneys. Choose light, breathable cotton. Let your blankets be easy to remove. A cool room is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of respect for your body's need for thermal balance. Now, for the most important part. If you do wake up in the night, and you still might, from time to time, just pause. Don't leap out of bed on autopilot. Don't rush to the bathroom purely out of habit. Instead, just sit up for a moment. Ask your body a real question. Is this a true, urgent need? Or is this just a whisper? If the urge is not strong, just stay there. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Feel your abdomen relax. Feel your mind quiet down. With practice, this small pause retrains your bladder. The nerves learn that not every little twitch requires an immediate, full body response. And that, perhaps, is the deepest lesson in all of this. The body doesn't always want a reaction. Sometimes all it wants is your calm, loving attention. Listen with kindness, adjust with patience, and you will discover that what you called a problem was actually just a rhythm waiting to be heard again. There is a sacred silence just before the dawn, a stillness that settles not just over the world, but within your own body. This is the hour of deepest healing, when the mind truly lets go and rest becomes restoration. But for so many of our elders, this sacred silence is shattered. Not by a loud noise or by sharp pain, but by a quiet, relentless habit, the need to rise again and again, even when the bladder holds almost nothing. I remember a wonderful woman named Amara, 74, who joined us for a retreat. She was full of warmth and wisdom, but her nights were a battleground of fatigue. She would wake twice every night, not from a pressing need, but from a deeply ingrained pattern. Her body was simply confused. We made a few gentle shifts together. She started sleeping on her left side in light cotton pajamas, and before bed, she practiced 5 minutes of slow, conscious breathing. The changes were almost immediate. A few days later, she looked at me with tears welling in her eyes and said, "I feel like my body and I are on the same team again." This, my dear friend, is my deepest wish for you. Deep sleep is not a privilege for the young. It is your fundamental right. Your body has not forgotten how to rest. It just needs you to create the right conditions. You do not have to wage a war against your age. You simply need to listen with compassion and adjust with wisdom. When you do, the body always responds, not with a dramatic cure, but with a quiet sense of gratitude expressed through hours of uninterrupted sleep. But to find this peace, we must first gently sweep away some of the myths that block the path. These ideas are not harmful in their intent. They are passed down through families and tradition. But when we don't examine them, they can lead us away from true well-being. Here is one of the most common myths. If I drink less water all day, I won't have to get up at night. It sounds perfectly logical, but in the body's internal economy, the opposite is often true. Dehydrating yourself during the day makes your urine more concentrated, which can irritate the bladder and actually make the kidneys work harder at night. The solution is never about drinking less overall, it's about drinking at the right time. The true principle is hydrate generously between 600 AM and 300 PM. This gives your kidneys the resources they need when they are most active and the freedom to rest when you rest. Another common belief, especially for men, is, "This is all just my prostate." While prostate health is certainly a factor for many, it is rarely the whole story. Women experience the exact same sleep disruption, often even more so. Bladder sensitivity, fluid timing, and late night eating are equal partners in this dance. By focusing only on the prostate, we miss the simple, powerful lifestyle changes that can bring profound relief. And finally, there's the old idea that a big glass of warm water at 900 PM is good for digestion. While warmth is nice, any large volume of fluid late at night is a heavy load for your resting system. If you love a warm drink, simply enjoy it earlier, around 6:30 PM. This way, you get the comfort without the consequence. These adjustments are not about abandoning tradition. They are about refining it to honor your body's new rhythm. I think of one more woman, Isla, who was 70. She woke 3 times a night, so predictably she could set a clock by it. She was resigned to it as a sign of irreversible aging. She made one change, just one. She drank all her water before noon and had nothing after 6:30 p.m. In 1 week, she slept for 7 hours straight. She came to me after our morning meditation, her face radiant, and said, "I had no idea this feeling was still possible for me, so I offer this hope to you. Your body is not giving up on you. It is not broken. It is simply waiting for you to re-establish a rhythm, to be consistent, to be kind." True healing often comes not from more effort, but from more awareness. Not in changing what you drink, but when you drink. Not in one big, dramatic decision, but in 100 small, loving ones. So tonight, before you sleep, put a hand on your belly. Ask it, am I working with you or against you? And then just listen. The answer has been there all along, as quiet and as patient as the night itself, just waiting for you to hear it. Your body has not forgotten. It still holds the blueprint for rest, for healing, for balance. All it needs is a small, gentle gesture from you, offered with patience and with love. A shift in your daily clock, a softening of an old habit, a simple choice to listen instead of to force. If anything you have heard today has sparked a flicker of recognition in you, a thought, a feeling, a quiet willingness to try, that is where the healing begins. And please know, you are not the only one on this journey. Right now, another person is sitting with these same questions, feeling the same fatigue. And knowing that you are also walking this path can bring them comfort. That is the power of sharing wisdom. It doesn't require a loud voice. A single truth spoken from the heart can travel across the silence and bring warmth to another. If you know someone who struggles through the night, who wears their tiredness like a heavy coat, offer them this quiet insight. Share what you now understand. You will be giving them more than information. You will be offering them the possibility of rest. Until we meet again, I wish for you a night as peaceful as the space between 2 thoughts, and a morning as gentle as the first light on water. Walk in kindness, rest in stillness, and remember that you are never alone.